What was the second thing? Moment or defining experience?
I didn't have money in school. It was like when I moved in with my dad, I was 12 years old. My dad, my dad's, my dad was the youngest of 12 and was physically and sexually abused his whole childhood.
Yeah.
And back in those days, there was no therapy, talk therapy, nobody, not going to a counselor.
Just suck it up.
Have the ability to talk like you and I talked when we were jogging.
Yeah.
Men back then didn't talk. My dad's 83 now. He wouldn't go to his best bud. Oh my God. When I was 5 years old or 7, I was molested by my cousin. No one knew. In the old days, they'd be like, get away from,
Yeah.
So he didn't talk about it. So what he had this built up anger his whole life, and no one was able to take advantage of him. Like if the waiter was rude to him, he'd be fist fighting on the floor with the waiter, right? If we were driving in traffic one day and the flag guy during construction, he didn't wave to my dad. He was like looking at somebody else. My dad drove by and he goes, "Hey asshole, didn't you see me?" And my dad literally jumped out and just beat him.
Oh my gosh.
That was my dad. He was infuriated with everybody because he was this young kid who got abused and no one was there to protect him, and nobody was doing that now. So he lived with that, and he's in an amazing place right now, and I love him dearly. But when I was 12 or 11, it was so bad that I was afraid. I was just afraid. Like I was nervous for him, and I wanted to help him. So at 11, I left my mom and moved in with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved in with him, I legit, this is, again, sounds like some infomercial story. I moved in I literally had a house with no heat because he was remodeling and he ran out of money. And he was working on it. So we had to literally drag a bed into a bathroom at night and plug in a little electric heater. And that wasn't forever, but it was for months. And when I moved in with him, I wasn't poor me. I didn't know anything different. It was fine. And I learned a lot by living with my dad, and the good, the bad. I learned how to negotiate and all those things. But some days I'd go to school without lunch money. And there was a point, and this is okay too. I'm not anywhere near that now, but there was a point where when I saw people with money, or like when everybody turns 16, a lot of kids in school, their parents got them a new car.
Yeah.
And
you didn't have lunch money.
They had the new girl, the car, and then they'd get the cheerleader. And I'm the guy going home every day working with my dad. I worked every single day. I worked on cars. I worked on construction. And like, I remember being like, you know what? You can't hear me now, but you'll hear me someday.
Wow.
In my high school yearbook, literally my quote is like, I might be silent now, but someday, like, it'd be impossible not to hear me. Like, I got to get the quote. I just found my yearbook. Damn it, it's old. It's from 1986. Like, oh my God. But anyway, I want to read the quote, but it was something like, you don't hear me now, but someday you'll hear me roar.
Wow.
And I had this like internal chip. Like, I was really shy, polite to everybody. I called every one of my parents' friend Mr. or Mrs. I still do when I see them. Like, I wasn't like, yo, I got this. It was more like, oh, yes. And I probably looked really, like, not weak. I don't even know the word. Like, just really like an introvert and shy and like, but I was hungry with a chip on my shoulder on the inside. Like, you don't hear me now. You got the car. You got the girl. I got you. Like, and so that was probably another one too, is envy. Sure. And I say, like, envy is toxic. It's completely toxic, but it's a
driver.
It's a good driver, right? Like, just think, like, you can't putt with a driver, but it's okay to smash a ball off the tee, right?
Yeah.
So if you need envy to smash the ball off the tee, then use it. Like, again,
use it to get you going.
Yeah.